Welcome to the third edition of the Noble Leaders League Review Preview magazine, the NLL RPM. I am Kjotleik and I will take you through the review of the second round of the league. We'll also take a look at the war table, leader ratings, Adelskalender and top 6 cities. Finally, a preview of round 3 of the league. But first, the headlines. Asuka becomes the new first division total as he takes home a turn 375 domination victory visiting Justinian I. Don't know if that was his number 1 plan though, as it was Justinian's ill-advised war declaration on turn 197 that led to a 178 turn long war ending in Asuka's domination win after the Indian leader captured 15 and only lost 3 cities in the game's only war. Asuka has 2 wins in 2, but a better score per turn difference than the other 3 leaders on 4 points, Wow II, Julius Caesar and Hannibal. His ambitions must have grown after 2 domination wins at the beginning of the season, and with a round 3 fixture against an out-of-form Pakal II, there is little to suggest that the Asuka fans lives in fear of a sudden end to the winning streak. 18th ranked Peter continues his show of force as he wins a turn 487 domination versus Huayna Capac in round 2. It was Peter who started the first conflict with his turn 197 war declaration. 29 turns later, peace was signed with Peter winning the war by conquering 2 and losing only 1 city. Then they lived in peace for some time. At turn 380 it was time for Huayna Capac's revenge. Or so he thought. He declared war, but were easily handled by Peter. The 55 turn long war ended with Peter winning, conquering 3 cities while the aggressor didn't manage to capture even 1. The final conflict started on turn 446 as Peter attacked. 41 turns later Peter won domination after a 7-0 win in cities captured lost. With 3 points after opening games versus Pakal and Huayna Capac, Peter must now surely be taken seriously. His round 3 opponent, Willem van Oranje, must at least be a little bit concerned, especially since the Dutch leader hasn't won a game yet, finding life in the first division a struggle after a draw and a loss in his first 2 games. Boudica wins her second conquest as she runs over Ramses II for a turn 396 victory. In total, she has been involved in only 3 wars in her 2 first games, but her numbers are impressive. She has declared all 3 wars herself and won them for a victory ratio of 1. She is not prone to early peace treaties either. She's been in war for a total of 473 out of 810 played turns in her games. That is 58.4% of turns played in war. Nobody has a higher percentage of turns in war. Her 2 wins makes her one of 4 second division leaders with 4 points in 2 games. She is in 4th place below leader Roosevelt, Suryavarman II and Bismarck. We'll see how her war tendencies serves her when she visits Suryavarman II for her round 3 fixture. Montezuma went on to win his second game as well as his first. The turn 480 domination at Alexander took him up to 2nd in the league, behind leader de Gaulle. Monty, however, is the stark opposite of Boudica, it seems. In his game at Alexander, he was involved in a total of 9 wars, 8 of which he declared himself. 5 victories, 2 stalemates and 2 standoffs were the outcomes. Impressively, Monty didn't lose a single war. But there are some concerns that his eagerness to sign peace treaties may not work so well going forward. Results and tables. First division. As was the case in round 1, round 2 also saw only 1 draw. Willem van Oranje hosting Gilgamesh. The point was the first for both leaders and made sure they stay above the bottom 3 for the time being. Asuka is the new Total after his domination win at Justinian I. Huao II won domination at Saladin to make sure the latter lost his number 1 spot. Julius Caesar took home a late turn 492 cultural win at Qinshi Wang's. Hannibal managed a cultural win as well when he entertained Suleiman. Cyrus managed to put some doubts into the hearts of Pakal II fans as he won Diplo on turn 216 when hosting the Mayan leader. Pericles, Catherine and Peter all won domination. While seeing Mansa Musa in the relegation places is not a tremendous shock, seeing all of the top 6 ranked leaders in the bottom half of the table is surprising. The top 5 in the league are all carrying preseason rank of 12 or lower. One can easily say that the start of the first division has not given results as expected. This makes the continuation a lot more exciting in my opinion. If Peter can defeat Twinekapak, then what about the rest? This seems like an open field of leaders right now. Being favorite doesn't seem to matter much at all. Second division. Roosevelt, Suryavarman II, Bismarck and Boudica are the 4 leaders on 4 points after a perfect 2 wins in 2 start of the season. Round 2 saw Roosevelt take home a turn 395 domination victory versus Charlemagne to stay top of the league. Suryavarman II won Conquest versus Churchill on turn 413, Bismarck went into space turn 497 at Hatshepsut, while Boudica conquered Ramses II on turn 396. Augustus Caesar, Washington and Hammurabi all have 3 points, with Hammurabi the one falling short of the playoffs in 7th with his -2 score per turn difference after his turn 298 Diplo win versus Kublai Khan. Augustus won Conquest at Mao Zedong on turn 345, while Washington won Space turn 476 hosting Wang Khan. Isabella and Victoria wins to join Hatshepsut and Churchill on 2 points. Isabella with a turn 408 domination at Louis XIV, Victoria with a turn 485 space versus Gandhi. After round 2 we have Roosevelt and Suryavarman II promoted, Bismarck, Boudica, Augustus Caesar and Washington to playoffs, while Wang Khan, Ramses II and Louis XIV will be relegated as it stands. Third division. De Gaulle is still top of the league after the French derby against Napoleon. He won domination at turn 362. 2 other leaders are up there with him on 4 points, Montezuma, turn 480 domination at Alexander, and Lincoln, turn 281 Diplo versus Elizabeth. Both of Lincoln's wins has been diplomatic, and he is one of 5 leaders never to have experienced a state of war in his games. Brennus and Genghis Khan stands on 3 points, Brennus after a turn 400 conquest of Tokugawa, Genghis Khan after a turn 381 conquest at Mehmed II. Darius I found his game plan as he conquered Stalin on turn 350 to climb all the way up to 6th with his first 2 points of the season. Shaka lifted himself up from the bottom with a solid turn 386 conquest at Sitting Bull. Ragnar became the only leader opening the season with 2 draws as he drew away at Frederick. De Gaulle and Montezuma are top 2, while the playoffs are between Lincoln, Brennus, Genghis Khan and Darius I. Sitting Bull drops to the bottom after his loss versus Shaka. After 2 rounds, we find 11 leaders with a perfect start and there are 9 pointless leaders. In the first division it seems that the pre-season rank doesn't mean a thing. Have the results been outliers until now, returning to the norm with favorites winning, or will we see the unpredictable chaos throughout the season? The war table. 7 leaders have a victory ratio of 1. Boudica, De Gaulle, Asuka, Darius I, Pericles, Huao II and Bismarck. With one exception, they have been the aggressors in all their wars. Only Asuka has been the defender, once. The numbers are already painting a clear picture that being the aggressor pays off. Out of the 85 wars declared, the aggressor has won 51 of them while losing 12. Cities captured are 296 for the aggressors and 102 for the defenders. That is a 60% success rate for aggressors. Since stalemates standoffs counts for 26%, defenders win 14% of the wars started. Leader ratings. In the leader ratings we find Asuka, Huao II and Julius Caesar on top with 1550 points. Hannibal is 4th with 1546. Towards the bottom we have Suleiman on 1454, Wanakapak 1452 and Mansa Musa 1450. Adelskalender. Cyrus is top of the Adelskalender with his 2216 points. Only 1 point separates Churchill in 2nd and de Gaulle in 3rd, 2232 and 2233 points respectively. 32 leaders have won at least one game, leaving 20 leaders on 2500 points. Top 6 cities. The first division top 6 cities leaderboard shows Asuka on 49 points, 8 points clear of Julius Caesar on 41. Justinian I is bottom with 6 points. In the second division, Boudica and Suryavarman II has the perfect score of 52. Louis XIV and Mao Zedong is at the bottom with only 2 points each. Third division shows Brennus and Montezuma on 52, while Sitting Bull is last with 4 points. Round 3 Preview. First division. After 2 domination wins, the first division total Asuka is up against Pakal II. Pre-season, the visitor may have been considered heavy favorite here, but with a draw and a loss in his first 2, there are questions asked about Pakal II. Can he strike back here, or will Asuka continue his good start? Huao II could become the new total should Asuka fail. He is receiving Pericles. While the visitor only has 1 win in 2, the loss was a culture loss hosting Justinian I. In a game he was clearly the stronger leader and should have won, had he just been able to take out Justinian fast enough. This is an open game, with Huao II a slight favorite before we take a look at the map. Third placed Julius Caesar is visiting relegation threatened Suleiman. 2 wins for Julius, 2 losses for Suleiman. Is this the game when the tides turn, or will the difference between them increase to 6 points after this game? Hannibal is the last leader with full points after 2 games. Just as Julius, he is up against a pointless leader, Mansa Musa. Hannibal is one of the leaders never having been involved in a war. His 2 wins are space and culture. If he tries one of those against Mansa Musa, he may find it a bit tougher to win this time around. Mansa is a very good tacker if he can do it peacefully. Peter has impressed us all with his 2 first games. He is hosting Willem van Oranje for his 3rd game of the season. Willem has struggled this season and looking for his first win, but if Peter continues his good early game, he is my favorite in this game. Qin Shi Huang is 7th at the moment, he is visiting Cyrus in 10th. Both leaders on 2 points, going into round 3. Qin with a win first, then a loss. Cyrus lost first, but won his 2nd game. Saladin gets visited by Sarah Jakob in round 3. Here both leaders won their opening games and lost their 2nd round fixtures. Saladin having been the first ever total of the top division versus pre-season first ranked Sarah Jakob. I have no clear favorite here. Catherine travels to pointless Wanakapak after getting back into things with her round 2 win at Sarah Jakob. Wanakapak has already lost against the Russian leader, Peter. Will he succumb to Catherine also, or has he found a way to turn this season around? It just feels wrong to see Huayna's name in the relegation zone. I cannot find it in myself to say that Catherine is the favorite here, but the Incan leader's form is so poor it is hard to back him for a win. Justinian I takes on Gilgamesh. Only 1 point separates them in the league. None of them have impressed in the opening games. I find this one unpredictable at best. Just sit back, relax, find some popcorn and enjoy the ride. Second division. Roosevelt vs Bismarck in round 3 is going to be a thriller. Both of them were expected to be fighting for survival in the bottom half of the table. Both of them have had a perfect start with 2 wins first 2 rounds. It feels like a home win to me, but not by much. Bismarck is surely not going down without a fight. Suryavarman II is hosting Boudica. We get 2 games between the 4 leaders that are currently top of the league with 4 points each. I couldn't have written the drama any better than this if I tried. Based on pre-season rank, I'd give Suryavarman II the edge in this one. But make no mistakes, Boudica will not want her unbeaten run to end just yet. I'm sure she'll have a go at this game as well. Moving down from the top 4 we find Augustus Caesar in 5th. He travels to Charlemagne to take on the 13th placed Holy Roman Emperor. Augustus did win conquest at Mao Zedong in round 2. Charlemagne failed to beat the Chinese leader in round 1 despite having a go at the end. He was too late to beat the turn 500 deadline. No clear favorite here. The still undefeated Washington in 6th, the last playoff spot, is visited by Hatshepsut. She is in 9th after the loss vs Bismarck. Washington is a small favorite here, but don't get surprised if Hatshepsut gets something from this game. Hammurabi, 7th, gets Victoria over for round 3. They have both played Gandhi, with Hammurabi drawing an even game in round 1 while Victoria won space in round 2. Once again I hold this to be an open game with no clear favorite. Isabella gets to travel to Churchill for her 3rd game. Inspired by her turn 408 domination win at Louis XIV, she is eager to continue building up a good form. Churchill got something to think about after his conquest loss at Suryavarman II. Can he get back up before Isabella comes to England? Gandhi will take the relatively short trip to visit Wang Con. 2 leaders in questionable early season form. Gandhi with 1 point while Wang Con is pointless down in the bottom 3. Gandhi feels like a favorite, but a pointless Wang Con could just have the desperation he needs to pull himself up on his feet and start to perform. Mao Zedong vs Louis XIV is another one of those games with the host on 1 point and the visitor pointless. Mao Zedong will probably be unhappy if he cannot get the better of Louis XIV here. He hasn't shown any proof that he is capable of winning yet though, a close call this one. When Kjotleik Khan is hosting Ramses II, he is doing so in the knowledge that the loser will be among the bottom 3. Neither leader has a single point after starting the season with 2 losses each, an early season relegation battle in other words. Third division. De Gaulle dominated Napoleon in the French derby of the 3rd division. 3rd round sees him visiting Genghis Khan for an interesting game between 2 undefeated leaders. Genghis did open with a draw hosting Brennus, so he is on 3 points, 1 behind de Gaulle. However, I can see this going both ways. Both leaders have reasonable fixtures following this game, so the winner here can expect to stay near, if not on, the top of the league for quite a few rounds forward. Montezuma, surprisingly in 2nd after 2 wins, takes on Brennus for his 3rd round game. Brennus has 3 points in 4th place and will put up a good fight here. May the best warlord win. Lincoln's row of Diplo wins will stop at 2. Visiting Shaka, I see no way this is going to be a friendly game. Shaka did strike back to get his first win at Sitting Bull in round 2 after having lost to de Gaulle in the 1st. Shaka is going to try to do the same here, and I think he just might get his 2nd win in a row. Darius I, in 6th, goes north to visit Ragnar in round 3. His turn 350 conquest win at Stalin has given him a little confidence boost ahead of this round. Ragnar is the only leader, having opened the season with 2 draws against Stalin and Frederick. It is difficult to see Ragnar winning this, but a draw is not out of the question. Elizabeth in 7th receives a visit from Stalin in 13th. She did win space and lost Diplo in her 2 first games, both without having to fight a single war. That is probably changing when Stalin comes to England. Will she be prepared, or will Stalin get his first win of the season? Alexander will travel to Frederick hoping for a better game than what he's been having so far. His win was a Diplo vs Tokugawa in an even game. Frederick could be just the opponent he needs. The German hasn't been showing any strength himself, losing to Montezuma and drawing Ragnar next. This game is up for grabs, whoever wants it the most. Mehmed II in 11th with 1 point travels to pointless Tokugawa. Despite a slow start, Mehmed II is my favorite to take home a win here. Napoleon is number 14 and has 1 point. He takes on a pointless sitting bull. Same situation as for Mehmed II in the last game mentioned. I cannot not hold Napoleon a favorite to win this. Of course, Sitting Bull will not end up pointless after 30 fixtures, so he has to get his points from somewhere. This is as good an opportunity as any. Still an underdog, though. This has been the Season 1, Volume 3 NLL RPM. You are welcome back for Round 3 of the NLL starting May the 10th. However, the Friday before, on May the 7th, is the first game of Sulla's AI Survivor Season 6 over on Twitch. Take a look at Sulla's Twitch page, put in your predictions for the prediction contest. I will have the link to the AI Survivor Season 6 web page down in the description of my video here. Whether or not you are going to follow Sulla's AI Survivor Season 6, I wish you well, and until next time, have a good week, see you later. This is Kjotleik, signing off.